Reminiscing about the drinking days. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to my podcast. I'm Josh, living life alcohol free. So today I want to talk directly to you, my audience. If you're here, it's because you're struggling with your drinking. You are feeling spiritually broken. You're feeling like there isn't really a lot of hope, and you want hope. You want something that you can reach for. You want something that you can grab onto, hold on tightly, and get out of that addiction and find God again, and maybe find other spiritual aspects of your life that can bring you lasting peace and lasting joy. But first things first, it's the drinking. The drinking is out of control, and maybe you're feeling lost. Maybe you're feeling confused. Maybe you're feeling angry, hurt. I felt all those things as a drinker. I felt them all. And I watched a movie the other night that really reminded me of where I was in my drinking. And I don't really like to go back there very often. So I really try not to do that. But this movie really got me thinking about what it was like as growing up as a drinker. And it's a struggle. You know, you're waking up, you're not feeling well, you're hungover, you're dehydrated, your heart might be racing. You might have said something during your binge yesterday that affected your family or your friends, and then ultimately ends up hurting yourself. And you feel shame and regret and remorse. And maybe you're asking God or asking your higher power for help out of this, and it's just not happening. For me, it took a long time. It took decades to get out of it. I really wanted to be out of it, but at the same time, I was still finding value in drinking. It felt good to hide away, and it just felt good to just not deal with life. So, you drink it away, and you try to ignore what's really going on, which ends up really just making everything worse, And if you're in addiction and you're struggling with your spirit, you're spiritually broken, your soul is hurting, you know what it feels like. It hurts. It's painful. Not a lot of people that aren't addicted, they don't understand what it's like to live like that every day, day in and day out. And I've always been an empathetic person. I grew up, I was an only child, so I was kind of sensitive. I internalized everything. And I had a lot of time to myself to reflect on things that people said to me and the way that people would treat me. And that time kind of hurt. You try to ignore that voice, those ruminations, but it's almost impossible to do that, right? I mean, if you drink like I did, then I found alcohol when I was 15, so I was able to just feel the relief and the instant relief where it was just like, this is what I've been missing all my life. And so do you know what that feels like? Are you in your drinking and you're feeling that way in your life, where it's just you're seeking solace and the drinking helps with that. So I quit drinking 4.5, I'm going on 5 years sober now, but I quit drinking, and I was able to get over my big urges to drink. And the longer I went without alcohol, I started to notice that it really was the alcohol that was making me feel bad all that time. I had other issues I had to work through. Like I said, my spirit was crushed. It was broken. I was broken on the inside. And but I wasn't really able to get a hold of that until I had a little bit of distance from alcohol. So once I got to like 30 days, I'd say, I really started to notice that I can do life without alcohol. Like, I can do this. And I was able to quit because I finally surrendered to God during the pandemic and said, I can't do this anymore. Please take me out of this. And it was just a couple weeks later that he did. And by the grace of God, he gave me all the tools that I needed to make it happen. Like I said, I went decades drinking, so I kind of knew what I needed to do. I kind of knew that I was going to need a community of like-minded people, a sober group. I kind of knew that I was going to have to read up on why I was continuing to turn to alcohol. I was going to need to know more about what makes me tick, what makes Josh. Aside from being a drinker, what is it that brings me joy? So what is it that brings you joy? Are there things in your life that you can reach for that will make you feel good on the inside instead of drinking? Because if you can do that, you're able to see that the alcohol is making everything worse. It's not making things better. It's really just expounding the anxiety, the depression, the feelings of low self-worth, the feelings that we deserve, the punishment that we're receiving. And if we can fill those drinking times up with things that really help our mind, our body, and our soul, it'll leave us feeling better, and it will fulfill us, and it'll be sustaining, life sustaining. And it was 2.5 years into my sobriety when I found my relationship with God again, and that's been a huge asset in my sobriety, in my life. Like I said, I gave God the credit when I finally quit drinking, because it was really the timing of it. It wasn't a coincidence. I begged him for me to be out of my addiction, and it happened. But I needed to grow in my self-esteem, my confidence that I can do life without alcohol, before I could really start to grow in my faith. And when I was able to start growing my faith, that just was like icing on the cake. It just, knowing that I have been redeemed, knowing that I didn't need to do anything to be forgiven other than just believe that Jesus is my Lord and my Savior, and that the Spirit is within me. And once I was able to just give over the notion that I could do life myself, hand over and submit to him that I need him in my life. That's just when everything began to change for me. And so I don't know where you are in your life. I really appreciate that you're here. I've got a sober group, Sobriety in the Storm. It's on Facebook. I'll pin the link in the comments below. Come on over, join it, and you can post. You don't have to post. You can just read people's posts. But there's a lot of help, a lot of guidance out there. A lot of people that have knowledge of what it takes, what it's like to live a sober life, to feel spiritually fulfilled, and to just live life alcohol free. And it's such a freeing feeling. So I hope to see you over there. Keep the faith. Have a great sober day, and we'll talk to you soon, everybody.